Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
hmm
Today we're tackling something pretty interesting. It's this idea of the job market as a marketplace.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the sources that you send over frame it in a way that, like, you're the one being sold,
Hmm.
which sounds kind of strange at first, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But it actually makes a lot of sense when you stick to, break it down.
I'm intrigued.
It's like your resume is basically your sales pitch.
Okay.
You're the product with all your skills and experience, and the employer's the customer.
All right. I see where this is going. It's about understanding what the buyer is looking for.
Exactly. And the source we're looking at, it really dives deep into this sales and marketing analogy.
Very interesting.
I remember actually when I was trying to sell my old car.
This is UnitiQ. Please subscribe to this channel and like the video. It is important for us and for YouTube algorithms.
I spent ages detailing it, taking all these pictures, writing up this huge description, highlighting all the best features.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
It was like I was selling that car, trying to get the best price. And it just hit me. We should be doing the same thing with our skills and experience when we're job hunting.
Absolutely. And the sources you share, they really hit on this comparison to sales. Employers, they've got needs, just like customers do.
Yeah.
They have these pain points, things that keep them up at night. And your resume, that's your chance to show how you can step in and solve those problems.
So, okay, let's break it down a bit.
Sure.
What does it actually mean to treat your resume like it's, a sales pitch? How do we even figure out what these pain points are that we're supposed to be addressing?
Well, think of the job description like a window into what the employer's thinking. They're laying out their challenges, what they're hoping to achieve. Let's say they're looking for a marketing manager to boost their social media, for instance. Their pain point is probably low engagement.
Right. They're not getting the visibility they want.
Exactly. So instead of just listing your past marketing jobs, you'd want to highlight those times you grew an audience, or ran a successful campaign.
You're showing them you can actually tackle the problems they're facing.
Yeah, you're not just listing skills, you're offering solutions. You're showing that you get their challenges, that you've overcome similar stuff before.
Whoa, this is making me rethink my whole resume.
Right.
It's not just about what I've done, but how it can actually benefit them. Like, I'm tailoring a pitch for a specific customer.
And in sales, underselling can be just as bad as overselling.
Uh-oh. You mean like
offering your skills for too little?
Yeah.
It makes them question how good you really are.
oh man, I've totally done that.
Yeah.
Thinking, lower salary would make me more competitive.
Yeah, it can send the wrong message. You don't value your own expertise.
So how do we find that sweet spot? How do we, price our skills right?
One source had this really cool analogy to retail. Think about when you're shopping. Often it's those middle-priced things that seem the best.
Okay.
Not the cheapest, not the super expensive, but that balance of quality and affordability.
So are we saying aim for the middle ground with salary expectations?
It's a decent starting point, but remember, personalize it. You wouldn't use the same sales tactics on every customer. Adapt based on the company, the role, your own unique value.
Okay, this is where I need a little more explanation. What does personalization actually look like in the job market? It's easy to say, tailor your resume, but how?
It's about knowing who you're targeting. Just like marketers research their demographics, you research those companies and roles you're interested in. What are their values, their culture? What problems are they facing right now?
So it's not just about keywords, but about really getting what makes that company tick.
Yes, and then you show them how your experience fits into that.
Gotcha.
And this is where competitive analysis comes in. The source recommends looking at resumes from people already succeeding in similar roles.
Wait, actually looking at other people's resumes, I've always avoided that. Makes me feel kind of insecure, honestly.
I hear ya, but instead of comparing yourself, think of it as market research. What skills are in demand? What helps you stand out? What's your unique selling proposition?
Okay, so I'm not copying them, but figuring out what makes ME uniquely qualified. Then I highlight those strengths.
That's the idea.
This is eye-opening. I'm not just applying anymore. I'm strategically positioning myself.
Exactly.
But how do we get our sales pitch to the right people?
Having a great resume is one thing, but getting it seen by the hiring manager is another.
Think of it this way. If you were selling a product, you wouldn't just put it on one shelf and hope for the best. You'd use different channels to reach your target audience.
So in the job market, that means using LinkedIn, going to industry events, tapping into your network.
That's it, being proactive, strategic about getting your resume in front of the right eyes.
Wow, Wow, this is making me realize there's way more to job hunting than just sending out applications and hoping for the best.
You're in control of the narrative. You're driving the sale.
It's empowering. But let's not get too carried away with just selling ourselves. What about the buying process? How do we make sure we're not just taking any offer, but finding the right fit? Excellent point. Just like a smart customer does their research before buying, we need to assess if the company, the role, truly align with us.
So we're selling ourselves, but also buying into the company.
It's a two-way street, and that needs self-awareness. What are your non-negotiables? What kind of environment do you thrive in? What impact do you want to make?
I remember being offered this job once, amazing on paper, great salary, well-known company,
Oh, yeah.
but something fell off during the interviews. I ended up declining, and looking back, I'm so glad I did. There were these red flags about the culture I just couldn't ignore.
That's the power of intuition. Sometimes it's not just the job title or the pay, it's about finding a place where you can truly thrive, where you'll be happy.
It's not just them selling the opportunity to us. We need to see if it's somewhere we can grow, contribute in a way that matters to us.
Exactly. It reminds us we have choices. We're not passively accepting anything, but actively seeking a role that fits our needs and goals.
Brings us back to personalization, huh? It's not just the resume. It's being authentic in interviews, letting your personality and values shine through.
Yes. Because if you're not genuine, trying to force a fit, it shows. Even if you get the job, you might end up unhappy.
Like squeezing into shoes that are the wrong size. They might look good, but they won't be comfortable for long.
Perfect analogy. Our sources are onto something with this perfect fit concept. It's not about any job. It's about a role that lets you thrive and contribute in a way that feels meaningful to you.
So for our listeners who want to find this perfect fit, where do they begin?
Start with some honest self-reflection. What are you passionate about? What are your strengths, weaknesses? What kind of environment do you do your best work in? What impact do you want to make?
Big questions. Feels like more than just a job search.
Yeah.
It's like creating a personal mission statement for our careers.
Exactly. Defining your purpose, your why for working.
Okay, so we've done that inner work. How do we translate that into action in our job search?
Then you align your external actions with those goals. Find companies and roles that resonate with you. Network with people in those fields. Tailor your resume and cover letter to highlight what's most relevant.
Inner work and outer work working together.
Aligning your inner compass with the realities of the job market.
But what if someone needs a job, any job, just to make ends meet? Does the perfect fit idea go out the window then?
That's a real situation for many people. Sometimes you can't be picky. Financial stability comes first.
So what then? Do we just put our dreams on hold?
Not necessarily. It's about balance. Strategic in the short term, but with an eye on the long term.
So maybe take a job that pays the bills, but keep developing skills, networking, looking for those opportunities that are a better fit.
It's using the current job as a stepping stone. Gain experience, build connections, while working towards that perfect fit.
Playing the long game.
Exactly. And even in those less than ideal jobs, that sales and marketing mindset we talked about can help.
Because even if the job's not perfect, you can still approach it with purpose. Learn, grow, network.
Use it to build your skills, strengthen your resume, expand your network. It all brings you closer to that perfect fit.
This is encouraging. Even when things are tough, we've got agency. We can always be working towards something better.
You're not trapped. You have options.
That perfect fit is out there. And with the right mindset, we can find it. But how do we know when we've actually found it? What are the signs?
That's the big question, and it leads to some fascinating things to think about.
Is it, really possible? I mean, can we actually expect to find a job that ticks all the boxes, in this sea of applications and job postings?
It's a question a lot of people have, this idea of the perfect fit. It speaks to that desire for meaningful work, not just a way to pay the bills.
Yeah, it's more than just punching a clock. It's feeling like your work matters.
Oh.
That you're using your talents to contribute something valuable.
Exactly. And even though our sources approach the job search from this practical angle, all about strategy, they touch on this deeper element too, this fulfillment, finding a role that really aligns with who you are.
So how do we bring those two ideas together? On one hand, we've got this strategic, sales-oriented approach. On the other, this more philosophical, finding your perfect fit thing. Do they work together, or are they kind of at odds?
I think they complement each other. The tactical skills, the resume, understanding the pain points, those are essential for navigating the job market.
Right. Those are like the tools that get your foot in the door.
Exactly. But once you're in having those conversations with potential employers, that's where the perfect fit becomes really important.
It's about figuring out, okay, does this job, this company, this culture, does it actually resonate with me, with what I want?
It's a two-way evaluation. You're presenting yourself, but also figuring out if the opportunity aligns with your own needs and hopes for your career.
So that brings us back to personalization again, right? It's not just the resume, it's being ourselves in those interviews, letting our personality, our values come through.
Absolutely. If you're not being genuine, trying to fit into a box that's not you, it'll show. And even if you get the job, you might end up unhappy.
And it's like trying to squeeze into shoes that are the wrong size. They might look great, but you're not going to be comfortable for long.
I love that analogy. So I think this perfect fit idea, it's really powerful. It's about finding a role that lets you thrive, contribute in a way that feels meaningful, that's truly why you.
So like for our listeners who are trying to find this perfect fit, where do they even start? How do they figure out what it is amidst all the, the noise and competition?
It starts with some honest self-reflection. Think about what you're truly passionate about. What are you good at? What are your weaknesses? What kind of environment do you do your best work in? What kind of impact do you want to make?
Man, those are some big questions. It feels like we're talking about more than just a job search. It's like almost a personal mission statement for your career.
That's a great way to put it, because it is about your purpose, your why for working. One of the biggest signs is alignment. Do your values match up with what the company's all about? Does the actual work excite you? Do you feel like your skills are being used and appreciated?
It's that I'm supposed to be here feeling, right? Where work doesn't even feel like work.
Exactly. When you're in that right role, there's a sense of flow.
Yeah.
You're not fighting an uphill battle. You're riding that wave of your own enthusiasm, and you're using your expertise.
Okay, so alignment is key. But what about the more practical stuff, like salary, benefits, work-life balance? Where do those fit in with the perfect fit?
Those are essential, and that's where that two-way street idea comes back in. You're evaluating them, but they're also evaluating you. And part of that is offering you compensation that's competitive, that aligns with what you're worth.
Knowing your value and being okay with advocating for yourself. I used to be so bad at negotiating salary, but it's not about being greedy.
It's about a fair exchange.
Yeah, I'm bringing skills, experience, and I should be paid fairly for that.
It's about recognizing you're not just looking for any job, you're building a career. And that should include both fulfillment and being able to support yourself financially.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Finding that role that's both like fulfilling and sustainable.
And it's not always easy, but this marketplace approach, it helps us be picky. We're not just taking anything, we're looking for what truly meets our needs.
It's like we become smart shoppers in the job market. We're browsing, we're checking out the products, and picking what fits our list.
Love that. Being informed, knowing your options, and being willing to say no if something isn't quite right.
Speaking of, what are some things we should be on the lookout for when we're evaluating a potential job? Red flags, even if the job description sounds perfect.
A big one is a disconnect between what they say in the interview and the actual environment. Pay attention to the company culture, how the team interacts, what's the overall vibe you get.
Like, does it feel like a place you could actually see yourself working? Are people happy? Does the company's mission line up with your own values?
Absolutely. And ask questions. The interview is your chance to get info, figure out if it's truly a good fit.
Yeah. So I'm interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me.
Exactly. It's a two-way street. And if something feels off, even if it looks good on paper, trust that gut feeling. It might be a sign to walk away.
This whole conversation has been so helpful. We've gone from seeing the job market as this big, scary thing to this dynamic place with so many possibilities.
So many opportunities.
And finding the perfect fit is possible. We just have to approach it strategically, know ourselves, and be willing to advocate for what we want.
I agree. It's about changing our perspective, taking control of our careers, and realizing we've got the power to create a work life that's fulfilling and rewarding.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, is there one key takeaway you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Don't underestimate yourself. You've got unique skills and experiences. Approach the job market strategically, know your worth, and stay true to your goals. You'll find that role that not only pays the bills, but also brings you joy and purpose.
I love that. So to everyone listening out there, go be your own best advocate, find that perfect fit. We'll be back next time with another deep dive. Until then, Keep learning, keep growing, and keep aiming for those goals.
Thank you for listening. That's all for today. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.